Yep, there it goes.
Thank you for coming. This is the first quarter of 2024 town hall. We've got a couple of things that we're going to do. I'm going to make a few introductions, and then we also have our annual meeting for master and for the EP residential condos. So tonight with us, we have our Brookfield development team here. Some of them, we've got Matt Chase, and then we have Mike McMillan. Matt is the Vice President of Community Associations, and Mike is the VP of Land. We also have Allison Grotzinger here. She's with Brookfield as well. Allison and Matt are part of your board of directors. The other two board of directors that you have is AJ Zorn and Armando. They could not be with us tonight. I'm sure y'all know the format. If you haven't been here, we're going to go through this. I'm going to answer or ask some of the questions that y'all have submitted, and then the development team will answer them. If we have time at the end of it to take any additional questions, we absolutely will. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started with our annual meeting for the master. I'm going to go ahead and call it to order at 6:31. We do have quorum. The only action item that we're actually going to have is to approve the minutes. And because this is a meeting of the members, the piece of paper that was outside has the minutes from last year. So if y'all can take a moment, if I can get a motion from somebody from the audience to approve the minutes. Yeah. And if I can get a second. Thank you very much. So because there's no further business, that's it for the annual meeting for master. So I'll go ahead and adjourn it at 6:32.
So I think I do this spiel every year about what the annual meeting is and what it means. Right now, during the development period, it's just a requirement by statute. In the future, it's where you elect your board of directors. That's typically what the annual meeting is set for. Right now, the developer picks the board of directors. We do that until 75% or 10 years, I forget. Then we add a resident board member. And then the developer still continues to appoint the remaining. And then there's some arbitrary number where everybody's elected. But we're pretty far down the line for that happening. Yeah. I mean, we're about probably 8,000 single family and condos. So, and the remaining being apartments, so about 10 to 12,000 total in the community. And I think we're at 1,100 closed homes now.
Oh, about 1,800 total.
Oh, 1,800. Man, I'm way behind. Oof. So we're at about 1,800. So, we still got a good 10, 15 years of development here in the community. Once you add in south of Slaughter, where you've seen those billboards right now that said "Picture the Possibilities," that's all Easton Park back there as well. So yeah, these annual meetings go very, very quick. It's not because we're just getting out of the way and we don't want to talk. The town hall is for talking. The annual meetings just right now, it's just a arbitrary thing that we have to do due to property code. So, yeah.
So residential condo, so I'll call that to order at 6:34. And if I can get someone from the condos to make a motion, and those minutes are just on the back side of the piece of paper that you have. You should say I make the motion. There you go. Can I get a second? Or do we have anybody else in condos? Laura? There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Motion passed. So again, that's all the business we have. So we will adjourn at 6:34. And just real quick, I'm going to go over just some of the events that we have that's actually coming up for the month of March. Do we have them up there? So this is actually all of them that we have. We've got a new one that's coming out that's actually called Shine Bright and Shine On. That's actually a really cool thing. It's actually a teeth whitening mobile service that's actually going to be coming out here. First Friday food truck, We Are Blood Drive, Eastcation, that's another one of our big ones that we have during the spring break time. We have the Down Syndrome Awareness Walk, Del Valley Mobile Library, which is also a new one for us. And then we have our Easter event, March 30th. Do want to go ahead and let y'all know, I know one of the big topics that's hitting around right now is the eclipse that's going to be happening the first part of April. We will actually have something going on here, so be on the lookout. We're going to get some glasses, have some kind of fun during that time, but if you're home and around, please come on down. We're going to have a telescope. We're going to have some fun facts. We're going to have some good fun times. It's going to be another 20 years before we get to see it. So,
so we done with the development by then.
With that, we are going to do the questions that were submitted. We get about 150 questions that we go through. So some of them were duplicates. So you may not hear your question exactly the way that it was submitted. And if you don't hear an answer to your question, it's probably because it may not have had something to do with the development. It may have had something to do that you'll hear directly from one of the Community Life team members. And so you will actually get a response from an email from one of the team members. But if you don't, or if you don't feel as though that the information that was provided here and you wanted some additional information, just reach out directly to me. And just a reminder, our town halls are about master development. And so, there you go. So if we have questions about Union Park West, definitely see me and I can help with that because the Union Park West board actually holds a different town hall to answer those questions. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So first one's up are about amenities. It says, what are the future plans for the second amenity center?
So future plans are we're still developing them. We could go into the next couple because these are all about the same thing. So pool, lazy river, is there going to be another fitness center? All of that is still being discussed. We hold focus groups, site visits from design companies, all that type of stuff. We also look at what's in the neighborhood already. We don't want to build something that's already you're able to access in the community, or might not be directly within Easton Park, but within the greater community. So we try to provide unique experiences within the community that aren't available just outside of the community. We do that for all of our parks and also for the amenities. So you'll hear this as we get down to parks, but parks are public, amenities are private. So the parks are public. Anybody can come in, anybody that drives by and can walk up or slide up or skate up or however they want to get up can go into the parks within this community. The amenity centers are different. Those are private. Those are only for the residents of the community. So the second amenity, when we talk about second amenity down on the south side of Slaughter, that'll be a resident only amenity. So it'll definitely have some type of water feature, and whether or not there's more fitness, we don't know. Typically with fitness, with a community this size, I think y'all that were here in the beginning heard me say, 8,000 to 10,000 doors in this community. That's a lot of people. That's a big gym. So typically we partner with commercial developers, and they go out and they seek large fitness companies to come and put a gym in communities this size. So it might be a combination of the two as well. But yeah, well, we sent out a survey last year, and we'll probably send out another survey within the next. I'm looking out Allison because she's on our marketing team to make sure that what I'm saying is right. We'll probably send out another survey. We typically like to send out annual surveys to the community. You probably remember the what was the one I used to plug all the time? Livability survey. We're not doing livability anymore. So the association is going to do very specific surveys to the community now. So when you see those come out, please answer them, because again, that's what helps us decide what we're going to put in the amenities in the future. It'll have some type of water feature down there. No, the amenity building for north of Slaughter is this structure here. Yeah, we understand that.
The next set is about future development.
Um, Go ahead.
First question is, what's planned for the future development next to Ariza? Ariza is the apartments that are right over here.
So yeah, it's future development. So there's multiple potential uses for it. Anything from multifamily, high density condo product. We just haven't decided yet what's going to go there. As it's public, you'll probably see it is in market right now. So we are soliciting bids. So you can, that's public knowledge. So not hiding anything from you guys, but yeah, that's one potential is multifamily or some type of commercial over there.
What is the anticipated open date for Primrose?
So the infrastructure should be completed by July, and then Primrose can start doing their construction immediately after. It's like a Montessori school. I think it's like toddlers and I don't have kids, so I just know what I hear. But it's
They're wanting to know what Primrose is. So Primrose is a large learning center that they are very popular throughout kind of Austin area. Probably one of the closer ones here is, I think, Lakeway area, but they're larger learning centers is what they are. And I believe that they're going to do from, like, it's preschool, so it's leading up into the elementary stage.
Mhm.
And the location of it is actually when you're coming off of 183 and you turn onto William Cannon, it's on the right-hand side, right past the monument. Okay, the next one is about parks.
No, we skipped the what's open for the lots next to the mall. So we call these the wings, and I think we answer this question at least 3 times a year. We don't know yet. As we've stated multiple times, the dog park is temporary, right? We're going to have a permanent dog park. This will be developed into some type of product, and then on the other side of the models, that'll also be developed into some type of product. Could be multifamily, could be condos, but it'll more likely be a mid to high density product on the ends here.
What is the projected capacity of Skyline Park, and how will this be monitored and enforced?
I mean, there's probably some arbitrary fire code about outdoor space and how many people you can fit, but it's an outdoor space, so there's not a capacity sign or anything that we're putting out there. And it's also a public park, right? So I mentioned this earlier, all parks within this community are public. So I don't think we'll be monitoring for capacity. And then again, we're not going to kick folks out unless they're damaging, any of our items out there.
What is the anticipated open date for Skyline Park?
So work is wrapping up. You will get an email from the HOA that'll come probably from the Brookfield marketing team first, second week of March. I think it's kind of the plan right now for that for the grand opening date to be announced. However, prior to that grand opening, once it's safe and we're able to let folks in, you'll get another email from the HOA saying, "How about it? Go hang out and check out the park." So we're hoping, and like I said, in the next few weeks, we should be wrapping up and just looking for those couple of emails.
Expect park be opening this year?
Yes.
What's the
Target is for it says late April here. So yeah, they're moving along.
And then what's going to be included in that part?
Half basketball court, pickleball court, playground, covered seating, lawn area. And a new addition, we're going to put 2 pads out there for semi-permanent food trucks to be able to sit out there. So we're putting some electrical connections. I believe they're getting water, but not sewer. But yeah, we'll have two pads out there that the association will be able to lease. And it'll actually provide revenue for the association. So the cost of actually maintaining that and the cost of everything will be paid for by the leasees, which is great. The question is, where's Union Park West Park? And it's right next to Union Park West, which is the community right behind us. It's not alley load. It's yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Up here and you turn right on Colton Bluff. It's actually the next entrance right next to the Montessori school. If you pull right in there, the park is on one side and then the condos are on the left.
Yeah, I always say alley load because the backyards have the low fences, like the 3 foot. So I'm like, I think it's alley load, but I don't think it's alley.
How many will be in Skyline Park, and will the overflow parking be monitored?
I have a feeling the same person asked these questions. Good questions. So there'll be 53 parking spots, and again, everything in Easton is public, so public right of way. Streets are owned by the county and the city. They're the ones who maintain them, so they can park wherever you can legally park around Skyline Park, and any park. No, the park is owned by the MUD, and then the MUD and the HOA has a 99-year lease agreement, where the HOA oversees and manages and maintains the park, and then the MUD pays the HOA. So the question was, does the city own the parks? And the answer is no. However, 30-40 years from now, possibly, if the community gets annexed into the city, then the MUD would go away, and then the city would own the parks. And the reason why we have that very long-term lease agreement is so that the city can't break that lease agreement. So the HOA would still maintain the parks to our standards. Yes. The question is about bike racks at Skyline Park. I'm going to look at Mike because I don't know. So for those of you, just in case you couldn't hear Mike, the answer is we don't have bike racks planned, but we're looking at adding bike racks.
With Skyline Park being the largest park, this could potentially cause people to park on the streets in front of the residences. Will there be any restrictions for parking in these areas?
Like I just said, it's public streets. So other than where it says no parking, it's all public right away. Yeah. So the question is why in downtown, but that's downtown also. If you go to other parts of the city, they don't have that same privilege of where it's just resident parking. I mean, downtown's a high capacity area. People from all over the world are going downtown. Yeah, we can look into it, but I don't anticipate us being a high traffic area where something like that would be enforced, to be honest. But again, we can ask. Worst thing they could do is say no, right?
What is the anticipated timeline for the retail space to be complete?
We don't have any info on that. We don't own the lots. Those were sold to those individuals. They were sold to a company called First Hartford. First Hartford is then working with the AutoZone, McDonald's, and the car wash. As far as the 6-bay building is looking to lock down their tenants before they start construction on that building.
Can you share what caused the
Yeah,
delay?
I just answered that. That was the one.
Okay.
Yeah, we can skip that one.
The confirmed businesses, like you said, AutoZone, McDonald's, and the car wash, those are the 3 that are confirmed for the commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Onto roads. What is the anticipated completion of William Cannon?
Yeah, deja vu, like I said earlier. Um, so we're done. Brookfield has completed its portion. So William Cannon is done from Brookfield's point of view. The remaining is up to the city. So according to their roadwork plan, their press release said it would continue through 2026. So hopefully they're completed, and then once their side is done, then we can open those additional lanes in the front.
Is there a plan to widen Thaxton, and what is the timeline?
Yes. So Thaxton will be expanded to 4 lanes with a dedicated turn lane. It's a county project. They did have to push back construction to later in the year. I'm assuming there was probably something with their bidding that probably came to light too late. So yeah, they are pushing that back a little bit.
Are there plans to add crosswalks on Colton Bluff Springs and Skytree?
Yeah, we can. This is for every part of the community. If there's an area where you feel that a crosswalk might be valuable, let Tiffany know. Tiffany can pass it on to us, and we can pass it on to our traffic engineer to see if it's a viable location. I mean, you don't want a crosswalk every single street, right? Because then everybody's stopping. There's traffic flow patterns, things like that. So we do consult with professionals, and then we pass that on to the county and hope that the county follows suit and says, yes, we'll go ahead and allow for a crosswalk to get put in. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It can be very difficult. I tried to get a crosswalk for Bryant Park over to the CVS because cutouts there is going to be there eventually. There's going to be a light there eventually. And people are still crossing there. And we hope folks stop, but folks still cross there, and they're not letting us put a crosswalk in there. So again, we make recommendations, and it's up to the county to approve those recommendations. Same thing with the, never mind, it wasn't the next one. I thought we were going in I thought we went straight into speed limit signs, so I could just cruise right into that, but no, we're not.
What is the construction timeline for Finial to dead end at Coda Vista?
So we ran into a little roadblock there. We're working with the county to work through. Thank you. That pun was definitely not intended. So yeah, we ran into a little bit of some issues there with the county. We're working through those. We're hoping that we can get started on that Q3 of this year.
Are there plans to add a school zone flashing light by the school?
There are no plans for flashing school zone lights. The enhanced signage and striping added last year is all that was planned.
Are there plans to add speed limit signs on William Cannon?
Yeah, so once we let traffic normalize for about 6 months after opening all four lanes, we'll do a traffic study and then propose speed limit signage. Again, it's up to the county to approve. County could run their own tests and say, no, we want it to be faster or slower, but we'll pay for it and we'll provide them the data, and then it's up to them to make the call.
What are the plans for enforcement of speeding on Finial and throughout Easton Park?
Like I said, we don't own the streets. We bring it up to the sheriffs. I like to let people know your voice is way louder than mine. We're a developer, and we're here already. So, there isn't really much. They're just going to say, you're doing this because you want to sell more homes, blah, 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 blah. We have a great relationship with them, and they do listen. But at the end of the day, you guys are the voice. This is your community. We'll give you the path lane, and Tiffany will give you the contact information. But if you're seeing speeding, then report it to the authorities and ask them to come out and check out your area.
Are there plans to add a stop sign on Colton Bluff by the food trucks?
Stop signs. Sorry, I'm just reading this note real quick. Yeah, probably not, just because of the way the reason for stop signs is to allow crossing traffic, and there isn't really crossing traffic there. So the chances of a stop sign there are pretty minimal.
Signage. Yes.
You on video? Anybody on video drive? How fast do you see cars go down? What do you think, 70? 60?
But they
70?
very loud.
So I was here at the last meeting, I don't know who the other guy was on the board, and he said, well, we have to move trucks through here, which was very offensive at the time. Since then, there was an accident at the same place I talked about on Hillock and Finial. A guy was going 65 plus miles an hour on a motorcycle, lost the motorcycle, went a lot long before it stopped. There was a policeman that I talked to named David Cass, who said he's been there 10 times at that intersection. The easiest thing to do is to put a stop sign at Hillock and Finial and put a second stop sign at Moonbeam and Finial. And that would stop all that. And he said, I'll be happy to come in and talk about the times I've been there. This is one cop who's been at that intersection 10 times, David Cass.
Now, they told me the same thing. I already tried to reach out to the county and they told me no. I don't really know what else to do, but there's so many accidents and people's like front yards have wrecked cars in there. It's gonna be in someone's living.
Yeah, it's gonna be an elementary school kid that's gonna get killed. Or somebody that's playing that little park zone right there at Hillock, and then we'll put up a stop sign for someone's dead. This is ridiculous. That's the easiest fix in the world. I don't understand why you guys can't get involved in this. That attitude last time really pissed me off. You say, well, it's on you guys, you're that was a trigger. That other guy that was here, whatever got to do, sits there, said that.
Yeah.
We got to move the trucks through. Well, fuck you, buddy. We do live here, and it's dangerous for our kids. My kids are grown, but I see little kids walking, dogs. What happened was the woman was sitting. I came out right after it happened. She was at Hillock. She stopped, started to go out. This guy was coming so fast that he avoided her and he ditched the motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is they think they're a coda or something. That's a straightaway shot all the way to that. That's why that coda vista would help cutting that off. Because they got a straight shot from there all the way to the elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming down. I mean, I know I can hear them at night. They'll go very fast. I was going to get an app and start to track them. And I called Travis County. They said they're going to send someone out to do speed checks. But the easiest fix is stop signs and then enforce that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to slow them down. I mean, speed bumps maybe, but it just traffic stuff, four-way stuff, cheaper. So I don't know what to do. I mean, I think you guys should get involved. I think us as residents can call in. I can get a hold of this cop, Travis County, but it's going to end up with a tragedy. It's just not if, it's when.
Yeah. So I'm not going to echo what was said last time. What I am going to say is that, I'm looking at Mike, is we'll get with our engineer to see. I don't know if the request has already been made. So let me find out if the request has been made, and Travis County may have told us the same thing. No. And that's when I say, if they're not going to listen to me, they're going to listen to you, especially if there's a ton of you guys. Right? So Mike might have some more info. And for those of you online, I apologize. The conversation is specifically about Finial. I know you can't hear the questions being asked, but it's the speeding on that street, and if we're able to add some stop signs to slow some folks down.
Yeah. So understand the safety concerns, and we will definitely elevate that within our discussions with Travis County. And so thank you for sharing that. It is again, a safety concern of everyone that lives within the community. So
He gave you Dave.
You want to just email that over to me?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great. We can reference him as another just
Because he-
information
he
data
said-
point.
he said Just me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good. We'll send us the information and we'll again elevate that up to the different decision makers and influencers at Travis County.
Okay, we'll move on to signage questions. Sure.
Question was about the extension of Slaughter Lane. Yeah, go ahead.
So we are working with the various municipalities right now on getting our permit for Slaughter Lane, and we hope to achieve that within the next 60 to 90 days. And then we are looking at timing as it relates to installing that, related to activation of the southern half of Slaughter Lane. So we do not have a definitive timeline at this time, but hope to have a little better update for you in the next meeting. Brookfield is installing Slaughter Lane. Yes.
Okay, what is the timeline for the Kiki Park sign on Apogee?
Should be completed by the end of Q2. It's tied to some electrical work across the street, so at Balboa Park. So it'll be done at the same time.
Are there plans to add additional signage on the new trails, especially between Pilot Park, Skyline Park, and Kiki Park?
We're looking at possibly adding some education signage as well as wayfinding, but there's nothing concrete just yet.
Would it be possible to add signage between McKinney Crossing and Pilot Park, where they meet to differentiate the neighborhoods?
Yeah, I think our marketing team's working on that right now.
The miscellaneous ones. This is, what are the plans to address the standing water on the sidewalks under William Cannon?
Do you know about this?
Yeah, we're working with the agency on it as well, and we're looking into it and hope to get a resolution here in the short term. So thank you for the question.
What are the plans to fix the pooling water at the corner of Hillock and Fulton Bluff?
So there's some political stuff going on there. We're in a discussion with the county to release the bonds. Once the county releases bonds, then we can work on it. But neither of us can touch it, either the county or the Brookfield developer can do any work on that curb until those bonds are released. So, Mike, I don't know if there's anything more you want to add to that, but
We were really close to getting those bonds released. So we want to get in there and get that completed as soon as possible as well.
The fence surrounding BB Living development be similar to the one across Faneuil?
yes. BB Living and who's the other condo going in there? Nelson Village. They have the same standards as the rest of the community. Obviously, design guidelines have changed, right? So those of you in Bryant Park and Nob Hill have a little bit different homes from those in Skyline and then Kiki and as we're Discovery and as we're moving our way through. Designs change a little bit as the market changes and looks change and tastes change. Some of those things change, but we try to. They'll have the same exact design guidelines as the rest of the homes in the area. So aesthetically, it'll keep with Easton Park.
With crime happening.
So I get this question every year or two. So there's absolutely no portion of Easton Park that will ever be gated. That was part of the deal with the county and the city when they gave us the entitlements to start development in East Austin. So the answer to that is no, never. And that's a very hard no, never. Normally, those of you that have been around here a long time know me, and I can typically say we can work on something, but that is one of those that is a no, never. That city won't allow it, county won't allow it. That's not part of our entitlement in our agreement.
Help minimize the crime.
So again, another question we get every single town hall. They're not cost effective. Number one, you have a better. I always give an anecdote about this. So I have a camera in my front yard and on my driveway, and that didn't stop the guy from coming and checking my door to see if it was open. Why? Because he literally did this. That's all you got to do to escape a camera. I mean, the amount of money the association would pay to put cameras all over this community would be ridiculous. Security, as the community gets larger, I'm going to say that in my mind, I'm thinking of maybe like a patrol that goes to the parks and stuff like that to make sure, you know, kids aren't in the parks and hanging out in the parks late at night, or adults. It's not only kids. I still go hang out in the park every once in a while. Not really, but you know, if you know, someone is in the parks and things like that. But again, the number of security guards that you would have to stop someone from breaking in. There's a guy on YouTube, and I highly recommend y'all look him up. He's known for the glitter bombs, right? So he got back at Porch Pirates by building these cool glitter bombs that when they took it home, they went to open the package and glitter threw in their face, and then he had a fart spray and loud alarms and everything like that. He wanted to do experiment with cars, like how quickly it takes, how quick somebody can break into your car and people don't even realize it, like a packed city. So there's this one really cool scene where there's 30 people standing right across the street waiting for a bus. The bus pulls up, this guy within 2 seconds breaks the glass, takes the backpack, continues on his way. Nobody sees him, no sirens, no nothing. How many police officers, security officers do you think we're going to have in this community to be able to stop that? It's just, you know, what I say is lock your cars, right? That's number one deterrent. Serrano, I've given this one before, multi-million-dollar homes, very high-end community up in northern Sacramento. We had gates, we had armed officers. I had 6 patrol units driving around that community. Guess what? If the car was left unlocked, there was a guy who bought a brand new Tesla Model S. This was when they first came out. It was their first super turbo one, whatever. And a teenager walked by, door was open, he was in the car. He got in, took off, drove down the street to Folsom, California, and met his girlfriend for dinner at the Red Robin. And the police officers went and arrested him there. So it happens. Lock your cars. Number one deterrent, don't leave backpacks in your car. That was the whole point of this guy's experiment, is he left a backpack in plain view. So someone came up. That's all it takes, 2 seconds. All it is this piece of porcelain off of a spark plug. This little tiny piece of porcelain. They throw it and your window shatters. It's just crazy how quick and efficient this stuff is. They pull up right next to you. I mean, it's crazy. So again, cameras aren't going to fix that. Security guards aren't going to fix that. It's being vigilant. If you see something in your community, you see a car cruising around and you see them cruising back and forth over and over and over again, and it's 7, 8 o'clock at night, they're probably there to case in the community, and just, you know, there's no harm in calling the police and having the police come out and taking a look. You know, there's no harm in that. They're not going to yell at you for doing that. And then as a community, you know, Tiffany can send out reminders. You can start what is that? The Crime Watcher or Crime Stoppers neighborhood watch within the community. What I was really disappointed when last year, I think it was, we invited the sheriff out and 2 people showed, like 9,
No,
20 or 30. Okay. Out of 1,700 homes. It's 3,000 people in the community. We had 20 to 30 show up, right? So if we're all more vigilant, then, you know, obviously that's what's going to help make this community safer. And I don't think that it's a bad community. I mean, at all. I mean, East Austin gets a bad rap, and it's just not true. And I think Easton Park's a great community to prove that fact that East Austin is just as great as West Austin. So sorry for my diatribe. I kind of went on a little rant there, but we get this question every month, and I get it. It's new folks that move in and they haven't heard the diatribe from me in the past. So, I'll keep it short next time.
A tickle in my throat, so sorry. But he was talking about like neighborhood watch and things like that. That's through Travis County, and I can help you get connected with Travis County. That's not ran through the management company or through the board. That is completely resident led. Union Park West actually started one a couple of months ago. And just because, by neighborhood, you can also do that by section. So don't feel like one group has to cover the entire community. The best thing that you can really and truly do is work in partnership with Travis County to help. We work with Travis County to partner with them because we want them out here. And I know when y'all reach out to me, I often say, make sure you report it to Travis County. And that's the best thing. The more the reports that are going on out there, they're going to come out here. So again, if you're interested in the neighborhood watch, I can absolutely help you get connected for that. Okay, on to the questions. Are there plans to improve and add additional street lighting throughout the community?
No more, no less than kind of the rhythm that we're going through now.
What is being built on Thaxton near Colton Bluff Road?
Yeah, I can address that. So the site you see next to the KB Home community is not part of the Easton Park community. And that's what you see as part of a development going on right now. That is a multifamily developer. We've been in communication with that group. They recently shared with us renderings of what they're going to be constructing there. So Tiffany, I can share that with you that we can get out to the group, but I think you'll be impressed. It's a very nice quality and the scale that we would demand here in the Easton Park community. So we were pleased with what they shared with us and the level of detail and the quality they're putting in there. The construction that you may see further down Thaxton, that is our second phase within our pilot park community, which are the 40-foot lots. And so that is part of Brookfield and the Easton Park community and part of our development. We anticipate that work being completed probably sometime early midsummer of this year, when that development will be complete and the trails will be also connected through there as well in that timeline.
Okay. What are the plans to eliminate the flooding of the pathways near the water retention area in Pilot Park?
It's in an environmental area, so it's very sensitive on what we can and cannot do there, but we are looking to get a resolution and working with the agencies to get an appropriate long-term solution in place. Yes.
So I've been useless as a walking path because it's
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. We definitely don't want anybody to cause any type of injuries or any other creature sneaking in through there because of the condition. So thank you. I'll get some updates, and Tiffany, you can share that with the rest of the community.
What is the estimated timeline for the trail completion between parks?
It's happening in a couple of phases. The northern connection between Pilot Park and Skyline is complete. The southern section will be complete soon. Once our phase 2 of Pilot Park is complete. So again, that's targeted for about midsummer this year.
That is all that we have for questions. Do you want to address anything before we go into some questions?
Let me answer some of these online ones since we answered a few here inside. Some of these are kind of repeats. Finial Drive sweep yesterday is appreciated, but ongoing construction creates debris. Can we get scheduled regular sweeps? don't know what the cadence. I want to say they go out there every week, the sweepers,
Every other week.
every other week. So that's the current cadence, is they're out there every other week. This next one, residents on Thompson Teal Trail, including Perry Homes, are reported I think that's more of a HOA question, so I'll let Tiffany get back to the community on that one. Finial Drive construction starts before 7:30 a.m. causing vibrations in home. So can we force a 7:30 start time? Those of you that live in that area, is that? Yeah, but do you see them out there before?
Right down here on the new model that's actually being built, and
Okay.
that's being addressed.
Okay, yeah, we'll make sure that we address it with those builders, including ourselves if we're one of those builders. Okay. Yeah. Is it pretty consistent? Is it? Okay. Yeah.
Go directly to the builders and address that with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Tiffany can find them more than we can, to be honest. So I know you're frustrated about the commercial development. Like I said, that I hate to push this off. Again, I'm not big on pushing things off on others. And unfortunately, this person has been posting anonymously on here. So I'd be happy to address this with you personally if you want to reach out. Again, we sold that parcel. That was that's the first parcel we sold, commercial parcel. And I've been very candid during these meetings that when we sold that, we didn't put a ton of controls in for Brookfield to be able to control a lot of what's happening up there. Other than, you can't put smoke shops and porn shops and, a crematorium and things like that. We have those controls in there, but we didn't, have some other controls. And it was because of the market, right? The market was weak 6 years ago here in East Austin. It was pretty weak. It's a lot stronger now. So we have way more control over this commercial, and we have the ability to enforce tighter deadlines in our contracts and stuff. So we will get with that developer. I'm gonna ask Mike's team to get with that developer to get a hard-nosed update from them, not a passive one from them. It feels like they're giving us passive updates. So Mike might be able to reach out to their leadership and say, seriously, what's going on here? Again, we're not trying to push this off, guys. We just don't. So.
Well, just to reemphasize Matt's comments, we do have approval rights on all the restricted uses, as Matt articulated just a moment ago. And so that is a protective governance on behalf of all the residents in the community, that we're going to make sure that those end users coming in are users that are a good fit with our community here. But we have, we'll also elevate our conversations with that group. I know we would like to see it open and completed as soon as possible. And so we'll reach out to that group and have those conversations and share the results of those with you as well. Also, the site next to the CVS, that is the open space, approximately about 11 acres. They have also recently transacted with a group that is going to be trying to promote different users come in there and start activating that site. So as we continue to get updates from them, we'll keep you posted. But we have no control over the timing of the construction or the activity going on there, but we do have control over the restrictive uses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a protective measure that I wanted to convey to you.
And it's tough, right?
I'm sorry, you had a question?
So you're probably talking about Town Center, which is the kind of the big parcel that will be commercial within Easton Park. We're in active negotiations with other commercial developers, right? We're a residential developer. Within our team here, Brookfield obviously has commercial developers within the organization, but we're working with multiple groups, including the group, we spoke to the group that did Miller as well. Because that multi-use, downtown shopping area is really, really cool. So they're one of the groups we're in discussions with. We're in discussions with multiple groups to either co-develop or get them to take over some of that land. But to answer your question, yes, right? But there's a double-edged sword, right? We can force them to build it, but if they don't have a tenant, then you got an empty building sitting there. And I think that's where that 6 bay one is coming from, because before they had a ton of tenants, and then the market, right, the last 12 months has been pretty rough, especially on commercial and retail. Their ability to get low interest rates loans to open up a shop was gone pretty much. And so they lost a ton. I mean, they had 6 tenants in there just this time last year. I mean, I think we were literally talking about that this year. Like, they have 6 tenants, they're ready to go. And then by December, half their tenants, I don't even know how many they have now, but half their tenants disappeared. They said they couldn't afford to open a shop there. So it's a double-edged sword. Instead of empty shells, we'd like to have it activated. But again, it's not in our power up there. It is in our power, We have to remember we don't have as many roofs right now, right? So, or when that started. So we have more roofs. We're going to have more roofs once we start on that project. So you're going to have more folks wanting to fill those spaces. Yeah.
I'm sorry, the town center itself, I mean, it's about 250 acres. You're very aware that it's got a lot of frontage along 183. The scale of that site and the scale of the opportunity there is much different.
Mhm.
And we're talking about the scale of these smaller sites. And so we are actively in conversations with both not only local groups, but national groups on the town center. Yes, that's located on the eastern border of the community along 183. So yes. So much more to come there, but we've got, as to Matt's point, the subject matter experts that this is their space and can share with us, the great opportunities of end users that would be a great fit. Sure.
Oh yeah, we don't allow partial, right? We're not going to let someone start putting up sticks and and pour a foundation and put up sticks and then just walk away. That's not how we do business. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a talk. With all the houses being. HEB, they own that lot. Have they contacted anybody yet? Have you guys heard anything about that?
No, so the question is about HEB. I got to repeat for the folks. They can't hear you, so all they hear is my side of the conversation, not yours. So that, yeah.
I'll address this one.
Yeah.
So we've recently reached out to HEB and their leadership team to give us an update. And so we're working on trying to get a time calendared and meet. And as soon as we have that meeting put together, we'll share with you the results of what they share with us. Yeah.
They roll out in a very slow, methodical manner. I actually met with one of their GMs, or I'm sorry, one of their construction managers. And he was the one that told me, like, they're very slow. They try to get them to go faster, but HEB is just very slow and methodical on how they grow. And he's like, well, you guys should build more. I mean, there's opportunities. Obviously, he wants to make money building the markets for them. But he enlightened me, and he was like, yeah, they're just very slow, and they'll hold on to land for years, decades, and not build anything. Yeah, I mean, the amount of land they own in Texas is staggering. Yeah.
Yeah, but for everyone here and on behalf of the community, it's an opportunity for us to share, the great success we've had this year so far with sales activity and new residents coming to the community, and it just continues to grow. So we want to share some of our information with them. Not that we're going to influence their decision any differently. They're HEB. But again, as we discuss and talk with them, and we'll share any and all information that they're comfortable for us sharing with you.
Did you have another question or? Okay.
Yep.
So we've got just a couple more minutes. We have any more questions online, or we want to take some? We have, yes.
So the question is about the amenity center. That is something we're looking at as well. Like I said, we want to provide something that you can't get for a better version of within the area, right? So we look at a multitude of different like activity areas throughout this part of Austin. That's within driving distance and isn't, a 30-45 minute drive away. That's obviously not local. But as we look at sports courts, it might be a very specific type of sport court that we put in there. Like if pickleball here takes off, that might be something that we end up putting in, or basketball or things like that. Yeah, if it's part of a park, but if it's within the amenity center, then that's different, and we can gate that area off. And again, that's something that's within our discussions. You have to remember too, you have a certain amount of acreage, and would we do better putting in, let's say, like, and please do not think that, don't you dare, Mike. Don't think that this is a promise or anything, but if it's between volleyball courts and a lazy river, we're probably going to go with the lazy river, right? We're not going to go with the volleyball courts. But then it's okay, do we want a lap pool too? So we could do the lazy river, we could do the lap pool, or we could do the lazy river and volleyball courts, or we could do there's hundreds of different combinations and different things you can do. So we do look at that, and we listen to what the community is asking for as well. And I know, like I said, I've heard it, the pool, 100%, this is a resort style pool. It's a beautiful pool. And my thought just personally is, the south amenity would probably be more geared towards kids, bigger area, more kids. And this side, turns back into more adult. But we'll listen, right? But yeah, this, I remember when we first opened this community, that's all that was here. There was like a few folks that had kids, and there was a couple kids that came up, but this was mainly an adult pool. And then our population exploded during COVID because everybody had to stay home, and now the demographic has changed pretty considerably out here. And again, we take that feedback from you guys to figure out what we're going to do. I always point at Bryant Park and Nob Hill Park as two examples of, we did it wrong. You guys told us we did it wrong. So in new parks, we made sure we did it right. So again, always provide that feedback when you have the opportunity. When those surveys come out, please provide us with the feedback. We want to hear it. This is an investment not only by Brookfield, but it's obviously an investment by you. You live here, so we want to make this the best community possible. So with that, no idea. The question was number of people with pools. It's funny, we were just talking about how many architectural compliances. Yeah. Yeah, Stephanie might be able, that's one of those obscure things that actually probably it's kept track in their software. Yeah. We had two more questions in the back and then we're gonna.
So when you discuss construction debris, is this? Sure.
Like wildlife, dogs, turtles, etc. And we see over here behind Skyline as well. We're just curious if there's like any fences that can go around this park or around ponds that kind of keep that trash out. Will the HOA maybe, or even the city, if it's decided to become engaged, to have them come out ponds occasionally?
Yeah, I'll certainly run it by our land team. But to your point, they to operate efficiently and appropriately, they need to be cleaned and monitored more closely. So certainly larger debris of that nature is going to cause havoc. So I'll make a note and follow up with our team.
For the folks online, the question was about construction debris in the ponds and Pilot Park specifically, but just in general around the community. All right, we have time for one more question. Yes, sir. Yeah. The question was about trees on Apogee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Mike answer that.
Yeah, it's I turned to Allison because we had a planning meeting this afternoon. That was a discussion point, to be quite honest with you. So we are in the process of having those discussions and taking the next steps to bring in some more street trees, as we call them, and enhancements to that area. So no promises, but just know that this was literally a discussion just a couple of hours ago.
So that's going to wrap it up for town hall. Do you want to discuss town hall moving forward?
Yeah, so if you guys can give Tiffany feedback. So what I've noticed the last few town halls is the questions are identical, and I get it. We have new folks coming in, and what I'd like is for Tiffany to start doing like an FAQ. The issue we run into, and an individual mentioned this online, is why don't you create a fax? There is a fax. And people get mad, and we've had this happen when they say, hey, you didn't answer my question. And so we get the same questions quite often. So we want to make sure that this meeting is valuable to the community. So I'd like to hear feedback from Tiffany if we went from a quarterly meeting to a semi-annual. And in place of the quarterly meetings, every month you get a development update in the newsletter. We're definitely say, hey, do you have any questions about the development? She might not be able to do 50 questions, but get those that have the most, because she gets 100+ questions, and then she condenses that down because a lot of the questions are the same question, just worded differently. So just give her some feedback on if we feel, because again, I'm happy to sit up here and sound like a broken record. I'm totally fine with that. Have no issue doing that. But if you guys feel it would be more beneficial to instead have those developer kind of updates in the newsletter every month that has some of these questions. That way you're not waiting every quarter, right? You can get your answers every month. And then semi-annually, we can continue to meet for the annual meeting, and then for the budget meeting around budget time, and then give some pretty picture updates and things like that. So again, want your feedback. Like I said, we're here for you, and we want your opinion on what you feel is most appropriate. I'll be honest, this is probably the most people we've had in here in a long time. Same thing online. We had 70 some odd attendance, and now it's only 58. So, so it's great. I love seeing the participation. It's kind of why I wasn't going to talk about it, but again, I still want to hear from y'all. If you guys feel that these are still valuable, then we'll continue to do them, even if there's only 3 of you sitting in here. Totally fine with that, and same online. So
Yeah, and I just want to echo Matt's comments. As we articulated, we're only a little over 1,800 total units into the community, so just about 20%. We've got a ways to go. So each one of you, in your comments and your feedback, you have a large voice, and we're doing a lot of planning, a lot of strategic planning related to the future amenities each and every day, and having those discussions. And so your feedback and your comments are extremely important to us. So thank you. Keep them coming. Wow.
In case you didn't know, he's on our architectural committee.
awesome. Thanks all.